As I wandered through the narrow streets of Ravenswood, the quaint coastal town seemed to swallow me whole. The salty air clung to my skin, and the sound of the waves crashing against the shore created a sense of unease that I couldn't shake. I had been exploring these streets for hours, but the winding alleys and identical cottages made it impossible to find my way back to the small inn where I was staying. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the streets, and I quickened my pace, desperate to find a familiar landmark. As I turned a corner, I stumbled upon a small, mysterious shop tucked away between a bakery and a fish market. The sign above the door read, "Curios and Antiques," and the windows were filled with an assortment of strange and exotic items that seemed to glow in the fading light. I pushed open the door, and a bell above it rang out, alerting the shopkeeper to my presence. The air inside was thick with the scent of incense and old books, and I felt a shiver run down my spine as I browsed the shelves. The shopkeeper, an elderly woman with piercing green eyes, watched me with a knowing gaze. She introduced herself as Elara, and I sensed that she was more than just a simple shopkeeper. As I explored the shop, I stumbled upon an ancient-looking tome bound in black leather. Elara warned me away from it, telling me that it was cursed, but I felt an inexplicable pull towards it. As I opened the book, the words on the pages began to shift and rearrange themselves, revealing a hidden message that seemed to be addressed to me. Suddenly, the shop was plunged into darkness, and I heard the sound of footsteps outside. Elara grabbed my arm, pulling me towards the back of the shop. "They've found you," she whispered, her eyes flashing with a fierce determination. I didn't know who they were, but I knew that I had to trust Elara. She led me through a hidden door and down a narrow staircase, into a secret room filled with strange artifacts and ancient relics. As we caught our breath, Elara revealed to me that I was the last living heir of her ancient bloodline, one that possessed hidden powers that had been dormant for centuries. She told me that I was being hunted by a secret society that sought to exploit my powers for their own gain. I was skeptical at first, but as Elara began to teach me how to harness my abilities, I realized that she was telling the truth. As the night wore on, I discovered that I had the power to control the elements, summoning the wind and conjuring fire from thin air. But with each new discovery, I felt a growing sense of unease. I knew that I was in grave danger, and that I had to find a way to protect myself. Elara, sensing my fear, took my hand and told me that she would stand by me, no matter what. Just as I was beginning to feel a sense of hope, the sound of footsteps echoed outside the room. The secret society had found us, and they were closing in. Elara pushed me towards the door, telling me to run, but I refused to leave her behind. Together, we faced our enemies, and I summoned all of my newfound powers to defend us. As the battle raged on, I felt a surge of energy coursing through my veins. I conjured a fierce storm, summoning the wind and the waves to do my bidding. But just as I thought we had the upper hand, the leader of the society revealed a shocking secret. Elara was, in fact, one of their own, and she had been playing me all along. I felt a wave of betrayal wash over me, but I refused to give up. Using all of my cunning and my newfound powers, I outsmarted Elara and her allies, turning the tide of the battle in my favor. As the dust settled, I stood victorious, but at a great cost. Elara lay at my feet, her eyes filled with a deep sadness. "I'm sorry," she whispered, before disappearing into the night. As I emerged from the secret room, I was greeted by the warm sunlight and the sound of the waves crashing against the shore. I knew that I had been forever changed by my experience in Ravenswood, and that I would never forget the lessons I had learned. I had discovered hidden powers within myself, and I had found the strength to overcome even the most daunting challenges. But as I walked away from the shop, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had lost something precious, something that I would never be able to regain.